Hello everyone from the hills of the island of Madeira, the flower island, the pearl of the ocean, the island of eternal spring, where I just completed my first Human-Cetacean Alliance retreat, where we actually met cetaceans on the open sea. Beautiful, beautiful experience, beautiful group of people. And I want to share some of that experience with you. The whole purpose of this retreat was to connect in the deepest way possible with the cetacean beings and have the opportunity to have physical contact with them. Not just meet them in meditations, which is already a deep, impactful and potentially intense experience, which can be very transformational, but also add the physical component to the relationship, which is like the cherry on the cake. You cannot beat that. So we were a group of 6 coming from various parts of Europe and the United States for one of us, and we went through a really intense energetic process, alchemical process. Yesterday I realized, I tried to record a video yesterday, and when I saw myself on screen, I was like, wow, man, you look so tired, you look exhausted. And the interesting part is that I wasn't really aware of being so exhausted at a physical level. It was much more of an energetic fatigue. Energetically, I was very tired because of the intensity of the process and having to handle the unfolding of the event, of the retreat, keeping it with in alignment with the purpose of the experience, the original intention, and also with the individual harmonizing the individual processes of the participant with the overall energy of the group. So that came with its own share of challenges, which is to be expected. And the first day was chaos. That was the theme of the day. There was chaos, and we were going through resistance. Chaos and resistance were the themes of the day. So there had been preparation, online preparation, and of course more subtle interdimensional kind of preparation for this event, because this is absolutely necessary. I'm looking at lizards running on the wall. This island is full of lizards, and these ones were the biggest I've seen so far since I've arrived. So where was I? Yeah, so there had been preparations, but on the first day there was also first contact for people in the physical. And again, there's always an additional dimension to meetings in the physical. And one of us hadn't arrived yet, because she could only join us due to her schedule imperatives. I'm sorry, the lizards are distracting me. Due to her schedule imperatives, she could only join us at the end of the morning. And there were technological issues, so contacting her keeping in touch with her through the morning was an absolute nightmare. And she was supposed to go put her luggage at the B&B where she was staying, which was part of the B&B where I was staying, and she couldn't find a place. She couldn't find a place. What I wasn't aware of was that Google Maps doesn't show you where that place is, so it leads you astray. So couldn't find it, the locals couldn't help her, she had to look and look and look, and was lost a few times, and the taxi didn't wait for her, and then she had to go all the way down from the top of the hills into town, so lost an awful lot of time. Meanwhile, I was trying to keep in touch with her, which proved to be impossible. And for the same kind of reasons, the people who were supposed to pick me up in the morning also couldn't find their way, and had to call me, and I had to make a rendezvous point at a bar that I thought would be easy to find. And then it turned out that there were two bars with the same name on the same hill. So you can understand why I'm speaking of chaos and resistance for that first day. And the really fascinating part is that this translated. It translated in the way the environment was behaving, in that the sea was really agitated. So this gives you a fine example of the tremendous creational power that we human beings are holding, and how we are able to influence our environments in a meaningful way. Now you could say, well, if that was true, everyone would influence it in his own way or her own way. So people who were happy on that day could have counterbalanced that influence of yours. Yes and no. Yes and no, because what you need to understand is that we were gathering for a very specific purpose, and that purpose had real power, very strong power behind it, because our intention was to strengthen the interspecies bridge between humans and cetaceans. That is very important for this period, and very important for the sake of planet Earth and the evolution of humankind, and of course cetaceans as well. So holding such a powerful intention and being really serious about it, and implementing it as a group, makes you a very, very powerful unit and a very powerful influence. So as is often the case in this type of event, in this type of process, day one was about encountering resistance. And why is there often resistance at the start of these events, of these gatherings? By the way, it's better if you have the resistance at the beginning rather than at the middle of the event, because it's better to get done with it as fast as possible. So, overcoming the resistance. where does it come from? Where does that resistance come from? Well, it comes from the matrix of limitation. More specifically, the synthetic matrix. So humanity has its own synthetic matrix of limitation and imposition, which is very complex and very dense, very thick. All kinds of layers of control and restriction and imprisonment, quite frankly. And whenever you make a move, a deeply meaningful move that is likely to have a powerful impact that could blow a hole in the fabric of said matrix, or loosen the grip that it has on you, and by repercussion on humanity, you can be sure that said matrix is going to react to that move and organize itself to set situations in motions that will provide obstacles for what you are trying to achieve, in order to keep you within its parameters of functionality, its parameters of restriction. And it's not just the collective matrix that sets itself in motion to prevent you from achieving the breakthrough you're aiming for. It's also your individual matrix, because we all have our own personal one, which is connected to the collective one. And that is why these kind of things happen. And because the sea was so agitated on day one, we didn't see any cetacean when in the afternoon we went for our boat tour. And that was a disappointment to me and a concern. So it was easier to handle for the other members of the group, because they're not in my position. They're not carrying the responsibility for the event, so it's easier for them to let go and surrender than it is for me. The following days were very different. So there was still some resistance during the first part of day 2, but of a very different kind. It had to do with having to harmonize the energies and inputs of different members of the group with the overall energy of the group itself, because that is when things can get conflictual, even if it is in a sort of in this case it was in a low-key kind of mode. There was no outburst, there was no yelling, there was no it was handled in a quiet way. But there was definitely tension. There was a certain amount of misalignment that needed to be corrected, and people can take it in the wrong way to an extent, which can in turn lead to people acting out, albeit in very discrete ways, or ways that they don't realize themselves are positional. And this is all fair game, This is all par for the course, and it is all welcome. It is all welcome because this is what we need to work on. It's not like this is all undesirable and bad. No, it isn't. It is material. It is material for the work. It is material for the process. And we handled it. We handled it, and we handled it well. So on the second day, we got to see sperm whales. We got to see some sperm whales, and then a group of pilot whales. And among the pilot whales were some bottlenose dolphins. See, groups of cetaceans can mix. Some of the cetacean species are very compatible. So you will often see whales traveling with dolphin escorts, especially when feeding. And in this case, pilot whales, by the way, they're not whales as we usually conceive whales, mostly as baleen whales that have these mouth filters. So-called pilot whales are in fact big delphinids, big cetaceans from the dolphin group, dolphin broadly speaking. So we also saw the 3 following days were all pilot whale days. So we didn't see any other cetacean, and there was a message in that, of course. That persistent presence of the pilot whales, and their behaviors were different every day as our relationship with them was deepening, and the way they were interacting with us was changing, because it's all relationship. It's all relationship, and they adjust in function of our level of readiness. So it feels so great here. Nice spot. That's a really nice spot. Okay, so my pilot whales. When a pattern repeats itself to such an extent, there's always something to understand. There's a message. And here the message was to be found in the name, pilot whale, and in the way the species tends to behave. So what does that mean to me? What does that mean to our group? What does it mean to us at this particular moment in time? And the word pilot, of course, means navigator. It's the one who is at the helm. It's the one who finds the way for the boat to navigate the ocean. And that is something that we as humans need more than ever at this time, because this is a time of great confusion, and we are entering a period that is going to be really challenging in terms of discernment, because a lot is going to be on offer. A lot is going to be on offer that will be very seductive. Very seductive. Not like the dark, heavy stuff we've had over the last few years and for quite a while now. No, it's going to be very different. It's going to be very alluring. It's going to be very sexy. It's going to be very, it will have a lot of buzz to it. I'm going to be a very big buzz element. So there will be awe and wonder. There will be new technologies on offer that from compared to what we've had, are going to seem absolutely amazing. And yeah, they're going to be a big progress, but they will also present challenges because they are not fully aligned with the true path of humanity, with the organic path of humanity, with where we're headed to, where we are supposed to go. So they will also represent a level of interference different from the one we are used to, the one that has been imposed upon us with the technologies that we have been coerced into using. But the difficulty will be in the what George Kavasilas calls the cosmic candy dimension of it. You know, beware the cosmic candy. So even though it's going to be a step in the right direction in the unfolding of this scenario of the completion of the cycles that we're going through, it's not going to be all positive. So we need to have a strong inner guidance system. And the best guidance system we have is our connection with our greater being through the hardcore center that is here, right here. So that is the best navigating system that we have, and we really need to cultivate it, to reinforce it, and to make ourselves very familiar and comfortable with it. So that was one of the messages. And another one was that the pilot whales, our skipper told us they're very territorial. What that means to me is that they have very strong boundaries. And I believe that was the very reason why they were present for us every day. Because to be very honest with you, I don't think it was innocent that all the other species, you know, apart from the occasional sperm whale, had vamoosed, had just disappeared from the area just when we came to connect with them. And I can assure you we had no arrogance in our attitude. We were really humble about it. We were not there to enforce anything. We were there in the spirit of cooperation. We didn't have any spiritual ego. You know, we didn't believe ourselves to be the great enlightened gurus. None of that. None of that was present. We were there to cultivate our natural relationship with these beings in a spirit of contribution. So I know that the fact that most cetaceans made themselves very rare while we were there was not natural. It was the result of an interference, and lesson learned. For the next retreat, I will make absolutely sure this doesn't happen by working beforehand to remove any kind of interference, aiming at preventing us to meet and swim with cetaceans, because we can only swim with two species of dolphins, the common dolphin and the spotted dolphin. And the pilot told me that these species, they mysteriously disappeared from the area 2 weeks ago. So you can really see in the synchronicity of that with our retreat, that this didn't happen by chance. So next time we will work beforehand to remove any nasty stuff being present in the area, aiming at messing with our human-cetacean relationship and alliance. But back to the pilot whales, because they have such strong boundaries. They're the ones who couldn't be interfered with. They're the ones who stood fast and who stayed, no matter what. And that is something we will have to cultivate too in the years to come. Because the old control system that has been enforced upon humankind for such a long time was based on mind control and fear. And the new, softer, more subtle control system that is coming will be based not on fear but on bliss. Bliss, and not mind control, but influence at the level of consciousness, which is a deeper mental level. So I define consciousness differently than most people. Most people in spirituality are of the view that consciousness is everything, and I don't think so. I believe there are deeper levels of existence than consciousness. To me, consciousness is expanded mind energy, universal mind energy, formless mind. And so consciousness is deeper than our embodied mind. And it is at that level that a very strong influences are going to play out, coming from new actors. They're not entirely new, they've been present in the background for a while, but they're going to make themselves very visible and very known, like extraterrestrials from the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which I believe will be the most visible ET organization to make official contact. So the exopolitical sphere. The exopolitical sphere is going to go public. You know, everything that was happening behind the scenes at that level is going to become official and public. And very powerful streams of influence are going to flow into the collective consciousness from that ecosystem of exopolitics. So that's going to be a real challenge, because much more difficult to discern, much more difficult to actually feel where your boundaries are, and to hold fast, you know, feel where you're real, your natural, your true, your authentic boundaries are, not the ones that are constructed, you know, that are engineered, manufactured, but your own true authentic boundaries. So it will be challenging. So that's why we need to cultivate strong boundaries, and we can use allies who really emphasize these qualities to through resonance awaken that quality in us, because we already have all qualities in us. We are universal fractals, so it's a matter of awakening and emphasizing whatever it is we need. according to the situation and the moment. And pilot whales, they don't take crap from anyone. They don't take crap for anyone. No, they challenge orcas. And orcas are the undisputed, unrivaled apex predators of the ocean. But when pilot whales become aware of the presence of a group of orcas entering the area where they are, very often they will gang up and mob and chase the orcas and drive them away, because they don't want them in the environment posing a potential threat to their young. So the orcas, they're at least twice as big as the pilot whales, but pilot whale doesn't care. Pilot whale does whatever is required to do in order to protect, in order to be safe from predators. That's also an important lesson for we humans. We need to stop being victims, and we need to stop allowing ourselves to be prey. And we've been prey for a long time. We've been prey for predatory and parasitic races that have invaded and infiltrated us, and that is coming to an end now. So we are in the process of extracting ourselves from that system, that situation of being preyed upon and being used as living batteries. It's time. It's a process, of course. It's progressive, and many people are at different stages in that liberation process. But it's happening. It's happening, and it's a very important shift in our consciousness. And it's also important to realize that this situation was the result of an agreement at a soul level. So we, as the Earth human species, we had a soul level agreement with all these beings, all these forces, allowing them to come here and using us as they did and treating us as they did. And there were very deep cosmic level reasons for that to happen. And it was extremely important to let it happen in order to create a certain alchemy that will give rise to an entirely new form of life here on this planet, that will have an impact on the rest of the universe. All right, so this is what I wish to share with you for this video. Madeira is an extraordinary place. It is a beautiful, beautiful being. It was part of our work to help her. So she was part of the process all along. You know, she offered us this this crucible. She offered herself as a crucible for the alchemy to take place, and she's amazing. The entire island, which is the emerged top of a very big volcano, she's an amazing woman. She's an amazing feminine being, and what I feel here is really light energy, very expansive. And because it is such a massive power spot, the entire island in fact, like all big power spots that the predators and the parasites have been aware of, its energies have been harnessed and hijacked and exploited and abused. So part of our work here consisted of helping her to get rid of as much of these impositions as is possible at this time. Because again, it's a process. Which is something we also did in cooperation with our cetacean friends through meditations for the oceans. There's a lot of imposition in the oceans as well. So the ocean is a freer environment than the land, because it is so fluid and vast and boundless. You know, there are no obstacles, there are no boundaries, so naturally there is more freedom. But there is still imposition. You know, the beings who live in the ocean, they also have their layers of controls and imposition around them. Cetaceans are waking up at the same time as humanity, and I believe we are actually, the two species are in training one another in that awakening process. But there's a lot of nasty stuff in the oceans as well. So we worked on that to help dismantle it. Everything, every control that has been implanted on this planet will be dismantled, removed, eliminated in time, until none of it is left, absolutely none of it. So this is it for this video. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the landscape that is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. Goodbye. See you in another video, and in the meantime, take care.